Welcome back, my botanical babes and my funky fun guys, to Medicinal Mondays with Ray, where we talk about all things medicinal, magical, herbal healing, and holistic. Blessings and good vibes to you today. I'm Ray. And if you're new here, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for clicking on this video. If you're returning, what can I say, Soil Tribe? You're appreciated more than you know. So this week's episode, I thought we'd have a little sweet twist to it. It's not an herby friend per se. It's not a mushroom either. It's a byproduct of Mother Nature herself. It has wonderful healing benefits. It's wonderful for your skin, sorry. It's got some cool facts behind it. Like, it's wonderful. I always talk about adding it to your tea, and she's just great. She's just great. This week, we're going to do a bit of a deep dive into honey. Dun, 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 dun. Wait, no, that's sugar. Anyway, we're diving into honey this week. I'm really excited. I knew a few things about honey. Like, for instance, depending on where the bees go to get the honey, it depends on the flavor of the honey. I had no idea about that. But wildflower honey is probably my favorite. Clover honey is very good too. I've had some that I didn't like. I don't like the really dark ambery colored honey. It's bleh, bleh. Anyway, let's dive right in, because you're not here to listen to me go on about that. You're here to learn about honey. Honey has actually been used in medicine for, again, thousands of years, like all of our friends, going back to ancient Egypt, Greece, and other early civilizations that treated wounds, coughs, digestive issues. Egyptians even considered it a sacred healing substance, like a literal gift from the gods. Modern research backs up many of the traditional uses, especially for wound healing, cough suppression, and immune support. So honey has been used as an herbal remedy for like way longer than we all think it has. And it's got some pretty cool herbal actions too. So honey is antimicrobial. It's an anti-inflammatory. It's an antioxidant. It's a demulcent. It's also a prebiotic, and it has wound healing properties. But what does all that mean? Honey is a sweet little miracle made by our wonderful friends, the bees. So for coughs and sore throats, honey is one of the most effective natural cough suppressant we've got. Straight up, hands down. Studies show it can actually reduce cough frequency and severity. And honestly, it feels good going down. Like when I have a sore throat and I take a teaspoon of honey, it just feels good going down. Like soothing. Soothing is the only word that I can think of for that. But it's not just that too. It's good for wound healing. So honey has been used since ancient times. And modern medical grade honey is still used today to treat wounds. And that's going to be your difference. You're not going to grab your fucking squeeze bear honey. That shit is garbage. That's not even real honey. That's garbage. So you're not going to want to use that. You're going to want to use like real medical grade honey, because it helps protect the wound. It helps reduce the inflammation, and it even supports your tissue repair. But where your gut health comes in, that's a big one for honey too. It contains prebiotics that feed your gut bacteria, like the good gut bacteria, and has anti-inflammatory effects that help calm the digestive tract. So if you're taking a lot of antibiotics or you've got like a lot of digestive problems, honey is going to be your counter and be your friend in that. But studies show that honey also can even support your heart health by improving blood pressure and your cholesterol markers. So basically, if you're coughing, if you're inflamed, if you're just generally healing from something, or your gut is cranky, there's an imbalance, honey is going to be that gentle, reliable, herby friend that just about anybody can reach for to help soothe those things. And it's also got that antimicrobial factor to it. So a couple weeks ago, my husband had an infection, like a tooth infection. And if you go back, maybe I'll mark it here. I have a video on garlic. And in that video, I make an infused honey garlic. Oh my goodness, an infused honey garlic. And I still have some in my fridge. So when his face was all swollen with the infection, I had pounded him full of teas. But I added the garlic honey instead of like my regular honey because of the antimicrobial properties in garlic and honey. It was almost like that double dose. And I swear to God, after 3 heavy doses of this tea, you could see the swelling like shrinking in his face. So that's a personal story with honey and garlic for me. I use it in all of my teas. As soon as the kids aren't feeling well, it's automatically honey. I just love honey. I do. And I didn't before. And that's because I was eating or ingesting that shit honey. That's gross. And it's good if it's all you got. But I'm telling you, get the real honey. Like, I got this one. I think I got this one from Superstore. And right now it's my favorite. The clover honey is really, really good right now. Other than that, I usually have this one. This is my favorite, the wildflower honey. My absolute favorite. So yeah, but let's talk about skin though, because honey in your skin, on your skin, not in your skin. Let's talk about honey on the skin. So this is where honey gets a little extra, but in the best way. So first of all, honey is a natural humectant, which is just a fancy way of saying that it literally pulls the moisture from the air onto your skin. So if your face is feeling dry, tight, or just a little meh, honey comes in like, don't worry, I got you. And it's instant softness, instant glow. I make all my face masks with honey. My face is so soft. So like if you deal with breakouts, honey is actually really good for that. Raw honey, like I had mentioned, has antimicrobial properties. So it helps keep acne causing bacteria in check. So it's like a bouncer for your pores. It kind of just like, fuck no, you can't sit with us. You can't come in. So, and it also has that anti-inflammatory property. So with your skin, if it's red, irritated, or just like throwing a tantrum, because mine does sometimes, honey can help calm everything down. Plus, and this is one of my favorite parts, honey has natural enzymes that give you a little, like a gentle exfoliation without actually scrubbing. So no harsh grains, no salts, no burning acids, no gritty, damaging anything, just soft, smooth, bright skin naturally. Like naturally. And because honey supports wound healing, it can actually help with those blemishes, the dry patches, or the spots that need a little bit of extra love. Like it can actually help that. And it's not magic, but it's pretty fucking close. And this really should be in the magical part. So basically, if your skin is dry, if it's irritated, breaking out, needs a little pick-me-up, you want to add something extra to your routines, your face masks, honey is your girl. Like, I get so excited about every Herbie friend because I am excited about all of the things that they can do. And I love sharing that information. And I don't know. Maybe it's me. I hope it's you too. Since we mentioned the magic, let's talk about all things magical, because honey actually has a long history of magical uses. So it's been used in sweetening spells to bring harmony and kindness, reconciliation, soft communication. It's been used in love magic, like honey jars, honey baths, honey offerings to your deities, your gods, your goddesses. prosperity. Honey is associated with abundance, attraction, and just sweetening your luck. It's used as offerings. So in Afro-Caribbean, Mediterranean, and even some Middle Eastern traditions, they use honey as an offering to spirits, ancestors, and deities again. And just healing magic. So just a symbol of nourishment, restoration, and life force. Um, I've always used honey. Sorry, I haven't used honey magically, but I've heard a lot about sweet jars and sweetening spells and things like that. Oh, look at the robin. Cute. Ha! They're a little thin. They're not in their 50-cent stage right now. But yes, honey, if you're into rituals, if you do your spell work, if you do any of that, try adding honey to sweeten things up. That's basically it. Offer it to your gods and goddesses, your deities. Yeah, magic. So we got to talk about safety. And in case anyone doesn't know, I have to say this. Never, ever, ever, never, never give a child under the age of 1 honey because you risk botulism. Google it, baby. All right. Raw honey versus your processed honey. Raw honey has all of the enzymes, the antioxidants, and the benefits that we love. The processed honey, a lot of that gets destroyed with the heat. So if you want to use honey medicinally, raw honey is where your magic's at, baby. Not that processed fucking bullshit. You want the real deal, not the fake shit. Don't put your honey in boiling water if you want to use it for the medicinal benefits. Super hot water can break down some of the enzymes that make honey so healing. So you're going to want to use warm water, or after you've steeped your tea and it's cooled down. That's perfect. Don't use boiling water. If you have seasonal allergies, honey might actually help, but only again if it's local and raw. But even then, it's more of a gentle support than a cure. So it's something that you want to use to help, but not to rely on. On the flip side of that, though, if you're sensitive to pollen or bee products, honey can sometimes cause mild reactions. So listen to your body. I have seasonal allergies. I don't have an issue with honey, but I also don't have a bee allergy. So I'm not sure. Another thing, honey is high in fructose. So if you're someone who has a fructose intolerance or IBS or a few things like that, honey can sometimes make symptoms flare. It's not common, but it's worth mentioning if you do have IBS or anything that could be triggered by honey. And finally, honey on wounds is amazing, but only when it's medical grade honey. So the stuff that you have in your kitchen, in your cupboard, even if it's raw and local, it's not sterile. So we don't want to introduce bacteria into an open wound. Every time you open that container, put your spoon in, whatever, you're introducing air and bacteria. So save that for your tea, like your throat, your skin, and all of that. But for wound healing, please use medical grade sterile honey. Let's clear the air on the metal. You can use a metal spoon to scoop and stir your honey. Short, brief contact isn't the issue. Storing honey in metal containers or letting your metal sit in your honey for days and weeks, that's where the problem is. Honey is naturally a little acidic. So over a long period of time, that acidity can react with certain metals, especially cheap ones or reactive ones, iron, copper, aluminum, and can cause like breakdowns, metallic taste, and stuff like that. That's where the issue is. I've got a cute little metal teaspoon that I use to scoop my honey. Like that is my honey scooping teaspoon. And I was originally worried because I was told, don't use metal with your honey. It's going to break it down and kill it and blah, 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 blah. After a little bit of research, that is what I found to be true. Storing your honey in metal is the problem. Not scooping, not stirring, not brief little contact like that. Sitting. is the problem. So I hope I cleared the air for that for you. That brings us to the end. That is our herby ally, I guess, medicinal ally, honey. I hope you guys learned something new. I hope you start using it. I hope you start incorporating it. It's a fantastic substitute for sugar. Energy bites I make with honey, awesome. I use it in my teas, my coffee, my lattes. I substitute it in my baking when I can. I cook with it when I can for flavor because it'll get too hot for medicinal. But I encourage you guys, if you can, substitute honey over sugar or your aspartame. Do it. It's so good for you and so easy and so lovely to use that I don't understand why sugar is still a big part of everything we consume. And if you don't believe me, cigarettes have sugar in them. McDonald's fries have sugar in them. Everything we consume has sugar. And even if we ourselves can substitute what we normally use sugar for honey, we are taking a better step, or a better step in the direction of good health than piling the sugar on like we always do. All right, that's it. Thanks for joining me in the kitchen this week. I had a blast. Don't forget to help your soil sister out. Like, subscribe, share my channel. Costs absolutely nothing to make the world a more natural place, one herb at a time with me. Thank you so much for tuning in this week. Stay magical. Wait, stay natural. And may your Mondays be magical.